Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people, and welcome back to Pine Pass, where we are way high up in the air because I kind of want to talk about the plans for this lovely little snow map. Obviously, we've started right here, and we're going to continue to expand back and over just a little bit, hopefully getting to a highway interchange somewhere over here. We're going to have to do some significant grading for that. But I would like to have another highway interchange here because back in this area, we're going to have a fairly large forestry industry. We may even bring the train in via a tunnel, which would be very expensive, but we'll make the forestry industry pay for that. And so that would encompass most of this area with the town kind of creeping back here along the hillside to kind of help support that and provide employees. Back over here, I'm thinking maybe an ore industry with just some homes and things dotted along this shoreline and maybe back into here along this little lake, and possibly having the ore industry on this side as well. We'll have to take a look at that. Hey, look, they're happy. You're great that you have opportunities. Yes, thanks. Up in this area is going to be pretty much tourism focused with some of the larger, unique snow assets that we have that are very tourist heavy. And then I'm thinking we'll have a really cool like gondola that kind of goes up to the peak and then back down to join into a transit hub that will link to cruise ships if there are ship paths on this map. I'm hoping that there are, since we've got a pretty big body of water here. But we don't know yet because we haven't even reached transportation yet. We're still about 75 people away from that. And then right here along this area, we will actually have some density, some higher density things popping up and probably creeping into like this island and then back and around here. Since this is going to be our tourism area, it kind of makes sense that our density would be on this side of the highway, lower density on this side of the highway. This will all be, just your single family homes and things like that. And that's kind of my general plan for the city. Of course, right now, we have only $6,000 in the bank, so it's going to be a while before we have anything major happening. I do see one thing happening right now, though. And way right there, I see somebody complaining about the lack of water. Is that because I forgot water pipes? No, it is because our water is definitely at its peak there. So what I'm going to do is come through here, bring this straight across, and we're going to throw a second water tower in right there. That will take care of our water availability. We also have a need for upgrading sewage, but that's $4,000, and we don't have $4,000. But I bet if we speed up things here, we'll hit our next milestone of Boomtown at 2,400 and get a little bit of cash influx into the city. We do have the same little corner complaining about sewage. We're 11 people away, 5 people away, 4 people away, 3, 1, and yeah, that gave us a nice little boost of cash. That does open up transport as well as our postal services, which we want to get both of those in. Don't really need to worry about our area that we've unlocked. I'm not going to unlock anything else, but we do now have to think about heating and how we're going to tackle that, because there's different ways to tackle that. We also opened up a lot of new road types and death care, child care, and elder care. So we have a lot to do, here, and not a whole lot of money to do it with. First things first, I just want to see, is there a ship path out here? There is. Good. So ships will come in, and I was thinking kind of a harbor here. So that'll work out once we finally can have that. Right now, ferries are the only thing we have available. We don't have the harbor available till 28,000, so quite a ways away from that. But I'm thinking this could make a cool transit hub area over here with the rail ship. Maybe do a metro back and forth between the two, and then have, like I said, the gondolas kind of going up the mountain here. and then dipping back down to this side where we will have some tourism stuff. But for now, let's get focused on our most pressing needs, which are numerous. Obviously, we have to have sewage treatment. Otherwise, people will start moving out. I would like to take a look at our employment. Unemployment's only 2%, so we could definitely use a bit more in the way of residential. We will have to see what we can do about that. But right now, I want to look at policies. I do want to enable a few. These cost us. This will cost us some tax income, but only slightly. But it will reduce the garbage, which will take the strain off of our recycling centers. So that'll help. I want to come in and do recreational use. One, I support such a thing in real life. And two, it's good in the game because it gives us a slightly increased tax income, so offset what we just lost there. It does increase our police budget, but it does reduce crime. But since we are wanting to build a winter resort area, this also helps improve tourism. So that helps. And then just to give our recycling centers just that bit more of a boost, we are going to enable recycle plastic. And I think to help out, once we get heating in, we're going to enable no electricity for heating. I'd rather use just the hot water that we're going to generate here in just a moment. In fact, I want to start taking a look at that right now. And of course, the boiler puts out 120 megawatts and pollutes. This only puts out 80, but doesn't pollute. It has the same noise pollution. This is 640 upkeep a week and costs 60,000. This is 55 with 480, but we would basically need, 1.5 of these to match what's going here. So when you stop and think about that, essentially you're looking at another 240 on top of that. So that would bring it up to costing, about the same. So they are pretty much on par with each other. It's just with this, you don't have the pollution. Right now, our heating consumption with temperature at 5 degrees and falling is at 36 megawatts. So this would take care of us for now. But we also have to think about the added expense of upgrading all of our pipes. These are going to cost us 100 per cell to upgrade and then 20 cents per week per cell, whereas our regular water pipes currently only cost us 8 cents. So we are going to eat into our budget, which we're already paying quite a bit, and we're barely making any money right now in the city. So it's kind of a really sketchy place to be in. I could pay back this loan, but then that's going to take even longer for us to get everything upgraded, but that will save us $400 a week, and maybe we can recover back to where we were fairly quickly. Since we do have such a pressing demand for residential, I think that's going to be our focus to start with. And I kind of want to look here and see what we have in terms of terrain, and it is starting to creep up a hill here, but I'm okay with that. I don't think we're going to need to do any grading to add in an extra connection here. So here we went out 1, 2, 3 blocks. This would be 1, 2. If I go a third one here, that would be a nice place for another, not collector. This is going to turn into a collector, but it's going to then be, you turn left or right and we'll go down to just local roads. And I do want to start thinking about getting roads upgraded, but probably not until we get the roads that I want. So for now, let's go ahead and get one more segment in, and this is what, 400, 800. I do want to look at the train though, just to be sure I'm not going to go too far. Ooh, that's pretty steep right there. We may grade that off just a little bit, because this is now going to come down. Let's take a look at what that looks like. That's not too bad of a slope. We'll only be building on this side. I think it'll be fine. So I'm not going to worry about it. So let's get in just a couple more neighborhoods here. Ooh, I don't know why I used the more expensive road. We've been using dirt roads. We'll just live with that for now. So I'm going to bring that out to here, bring that over, and this will give us one more area that we can just get a few more residents in. I'm going to go ahead and bring our water pipes out this way, and I'm not going to continue that redundant line since we're going under our collector here. That'll take care of it. Back here, we're going to do something a little bit different, kind of follow the highway along. But for now, we're just going to get in a handful of commercial uses and some more residential. Now, this is going to be right up here by a collector. I almost think we would want to probably then come in and have a bit more commercial that way. This is going to remain a 2-lane road. This will become 4-lane. Actually, let's bump off and give it a little bit more space there. There we go. And then the rest of this can be residential. Not a huge amount of residential that we're putting in, but hopefully enough to bring in just a few more tax dollars and also take care of some of this need here. Now back here, we mentioned in the last episode that I'm going to bring the local road around following the highway. And the easiest way to do that is just going to be with parallel road tool. Parallel road tool. I don't know why I can never say that. It's just outside of my ability. So I want to come in with dirt roads and come up here with this. And then we're going to start... I'm not going to start back here because that would just conflict with that one. But we will go here. And I'm going to bring that down all the way to here for now. And that's about where we want it. And if I remember, it was 64 meters that we want, but we can just kind of eyeball this. What is it? Plus? Yeah, minus. That is plus. And bring this over here. I'm pretty sure it was 64 meters. And that looks pretty good. I'll take it. And then that will leave us a nice gap. How much is this going to cost us? Only $4,000. That leaves us a nice gap. For some reason, it didn't add zoning to this road, though. Why? Let's make sure that is all set at train height. Maybe that is part of our problem. It's weird that it didn't put zoning and all that. Grab all of that and then come in here and set to train height and then look at that zoning again. And yeah, that fixed it. That's kind of what I figured was the problem. So I just want to make a connection right here, which should be mostly straight. And then back here, we can just bring in some curves and do whatever we need to do. It also shows us where we can now get away with coming in with another block. Like right there, that's probably a little too close because then we would have an intersection there. So some of these, they're going to be not ideal to go over with another block that way. In fact, I don't think I want that to be that long. I want to go like about halfway. What was this? 220. So there's not a 110, so we'll go 120. And then we will try to bring this in at a 90. It doesn't want to. So instead, we will do this. Yep, that's not going to do it. This one should. That'll work. Not the best right there, but it'll be fine. Here, I think we will go ahead and bring this one out and just not have a connection there. We don't have to have a connection every single road here. Here, I should be able to get a curve in if I bring this out just a couple. And then we should be able to bring this in with a nice curve. That's fine. And then I'd like to get a connection here as well. Same thing. I'd like to come out straight for just a couple units. And then kind of try to find something here that is going to work for us. And that should be fine. We could go ahead and make these connections as well. I just don't know that they're really all that necessary. I just don't think that we really need them. We could add them in, but it kind of, I don't know. It kind of ruins the look of the area, in my opinion. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, well, and 5 connections back there if you count that one. I think that'll be sufficient, and we leave some nice open spaces here. Maybe we can do some bigger lots and things like that, and have just an opportunity for some more parks. Death care is desperately needed right now. So we need to get in a cemetery, and you know, I think one of these larger areas back this way would be perfect for that. Let's kind of set this here toward the middle, and we'll just make it its own little park, its own little place. It is close to the highway, but we'll eventually be able to add trees and maybe even some sound walls there to take care of that. So, not too bad. And let's get things sped up, and let's also get some water pipes in along this local road and then make a connection down here. There you go. That only took a second. And if you're struggling to get your water pipes to stay under the roads, as we all know where they belong, what I found is really handy on these curved sections is using the zoning that's here for a guide. If this had a steeper curve, I would have done it far more often, but you can see I kind of went where there were gaps in between the little zoning, and then you just make a straight segment as far as you're comfortable with, as far as it's still under the road, and then go down until you need to make another curve. So you can see right around here where that is. It's just kind of, the game kind of holds your hand a little bit in that regard and makes it a lot easier, in my opinion, to get what you need to do. So now we've got a bit of an industrial demand. Is that due to commercial? We're not really importing anything. We're not really importing anything. Our unemployment is fine. And our commercial is not complaining about the lack of goods. So it's kind of odd that we've got a medium demand for that. What I would like to have, though, and I don't know if we have them available yet, we do. I would like to have a couple warehouses. I really don't want them on the collector back here, though. I'm thinking we will go with just a couple right here. Well, we'll go with one right here because that's all we can afford. Now, downside is because we don't have a ton of industry, we're about to really get hit hard with imports, and that may cost us a little bit in the short term because our current industry can't fulfill the demand to fill this up, and we do have it set on balanced, and the game is going to seek to balance it. So we're probably going to see a bit of a traffic jam coming in here pretty soon. In fact, here they come. As I mentioned it, here comes the first batch. I bet every one of those. No? Wow, okay, I thought those trucks were for our imports. I was wrong. So on our collector, now that we're starting to get into some more hilly terrain, what I'm planning on doing is have it start curving around to where it's going to meet up. So it'll come around this way, and we'll eventually meet up with a highway interchange right around this area. Don't know exactly where that's going to be yet. It's not going to happen today. But what is going to happen today is we're going to come in here and zone some more of this. And I want to do just a few targeted commercial areas back here. So this is still coming off of that collector. So I think this would be a good spot to go ahead and bring in some more. I'm not sure how far out the grid is going to continue to survive. So I am going to try to keep these following that same general idea that we had. And then I think I would like just a little bit more back here. This will also help serve as sound deadening for our neighborhood. And I'm just going to be a little bit selective in filling some of these in. Like that one where they don't quite line up. I'm not quite happy about it. We're going to do just a nice strip of commercial all the way over to here. And then this I'll probably leave wide open for trees for a sound barrier. And then the rest of this will be residential. We do need to also start thinking about adding in our paths. I'm going to leave a little bit of space off of that park for the privacy of the citizens there. And here I want to think about where we're going to put our homes. So we are going to get some smaller houses here. I don't want to go right here on this corner simply because then the houses would be butted right up against one another, and I'm not such a fan of that. In fact, here we're going to go a little bit smaller before coming out to the bigger ones, and then we're going to taper back down. We may get away with one there. But then over here we can have some larger yards and things that we might set off with some fencing. I'm not 100% certain that it's necessary. And then we'll go here and here, and then on this one we'll start over here and do all of those, and we will ignore that. And then one more here, and then a couple smaller ones there. Then I want to leave this area completely just for the cemetery, so we can zone all of that. And well, let's not do right there. We can get one there, we can get one there, and one there, and that should be pretty good. Again, we're going to leave a little bit of spacing for the school and the park, and then we can bring these out like that, and then we'll leave that open. So we are now bringing in a decent amount of money, but you could just see it just then that people were complaining about the lack of heating, and I bet that's really, yeah, we're using a lot for heating. It's 10 degrees right now, Fahrenheit, and we are using 42 megawatts for heating. We can afford the geothermal, and that will get us where we want to be. And I want to get these, right back here. I want it to be, when you come into town, we are proudly showing off that we are a geothermal town, and we'll be able to get a second one right there. Now the key is getting this thing connected. Question is, do these need heating as well? I don't know. What I'm going to do is get upgraded over to residential and all of our other needs here, and then we'll go from there. Like, yeah, these guys are already starting to complain about no heating. So I know we're going to need it over here in industry. I just don't know that I have to connect those facilities. Since they're covered by the heating, do they have to be connected? Same with our water towers. I'm just not sure. But I'm going to upgrade this and we'll find out. And it's going to take a little bit, so we will have to wait as the money comes in to be able to get all of this upgraded. So I've managed to get everything upgraded so at least every building is covered, even though we've got like here and here and back here that aren't upgraded, and as well as that. Question is, are these operating fine without heat? It appears they are. However, because I built this one after I built the pipes, it is sitting at a very weird elevation. So we're going to fix that. So that didn't do as much damage to the budget as I thought it was going to. However, our industry demand has just skyrocketed and our residential has fallen off a cliff. Well, that would be a good reason. We suddenly have massive, massive unemployment. Fair enough. So we need to get in just a bit more industrial. Of course, we're kind of limited on space over here. This is fairly flat out this direction, though, so we can go ahead and bring this on back. It would help if I turn on all my snap twos. I don't think I'm going to make a connection here. I guess I could, and we can just have the collector come on down to here. It'd be fine. And then what did we do here? I want to kind of mimic what we have. So 240. And then bring that back. And then from there, it goes up 440. And that should get us right there at that hill. Beautiful. I like it. I like it a lot. That's not a 90-degree turn. I don't know what I was doing. That is not a 90-degree turn. And then bring that across, and then I will go ahead and have this come in, and we'll bring this here, and then this road needs to go right here. Again, we have that weird gap there, and for some reason it wanted to put that road on the ground, so let's fix that. And it looks like it's out of elevation, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And then we might just go ahead and come through the middle here on these just to kind of maximize our zoning. We don't really need it there, though. And then we will need to get our heated pipes out here, not in the upgrade tool, though. And we're just going to run there to there. I was kind of hoping that would be enough, but it's not. But if we run out here, it will be. Yeah, that's going to be the more economical way of doing that. And then there. And now we can get a lot more industry zoned in back here. But again, I want to keep it off the collector. This is going to be a collector. And then we'll have 4-lane there, 4-lane there. So here we want to back off to there. And then it can come all the way down to here. And then this will just be a 2-lane road in through here. And then we can zone all of that. Just leaving this gap so that we don't zone where we're going to have trucks entering in each other's way. And hopefully that will take care of a lot of our industrial need. What I want to do now is just double check when I enable this policy, will these suddenly need heating? Answer... yes. Yes, they do. Okay, so these were using electricity previously. So we do need to upgrade. Ooh, that's a long run. Oof. All right, here we go. Let's spend some more money. At least we have it this time. There we go. Anywhere else complaining? Yeah, they were complaining about no water because that was all frozen up. Looks like everybody else is covered, though. We do have pretty significant... snow coverage on the roads. There was one thing I wanted to fix from last time, and it's going to make this underground really steep, but it bothers me that these are sticking up the way they are, so we're just going to lower those down and ignore how steep that tunnel entrance is. There we go. That looks a ton better. And I realized when I placed our tennis court, I had a missed opportunity for the high school. So we're going to get rid of that. And instead, we are going to give them... where is it? There was a hockey rink. No, we'll give them a curling park. And they can have a high school curling team. Makes a little bit more sense, I think, for a winter-themed town. Instead of having a tennis team, to have a... curling team. It is sitting a bit odd, and that might impact their ability to play the game some, but that's their problem, not mine. And just like that, we have shifted from having huge demand on industry and offices to going back to huge demand for residential. What I'm going to do between videos is just let the game run and let a few years pass and get some money in our coffers so that we have enough money to start doing some better expansion. But overall, I think we've done well. Again, I'm recording this video the day that the last one went live, so haven't really had a chance yet, but I would love to get a name for this area over here, kind of our founders area, as well as for Strawberry Mall. It needs a name. So the area in general that's going to fill in all of this and our, calling it park, but it's not a park. It's a, what's the word? Pedestrian center, which has a lot of police cars driving through there, but that's okay. Eventually, we're going to have the big giant Christmas tree in there and a few of our other snowy assets, but right now we just can't afford them. But I'm thinking, things like the ice sculpture park, which we already have, which when I was looking at the video, I thought, why not have 2 of these and have them just right here at the entrance, just to kind of cap that entrance. I know it's the identical same thing, but I like the symmetry of it, and it gives us double the parks in the town. And we will eventually add in maybe a skating rink back here. I think that would probably be a good thing to have back here. Ski lodge, no. Cross-country skiing park doesn't fit. And the fire pit we already have. So a lot of this is going to be whatever unique buildings we can in here. The ice hockey arena, the ski resort, those will wind up back there. They're big buildings, and they will be in our tourist area. Along with the spa hotel, the sleigh ride, the snowboard arena, all of that. But hopefully, I know the Christmas tree is going to go down here. I don't know if the Igloo Hotel will or not. I just don't know how big it is. Oh, that's pretty big. Yeah, it'll have to go up the other area as well. So we may wind up doing just some fire pit parks and other things down here. But those are definitely things that we will look at next time. What I want to do is grab one of these vehicles that are coming into town here. You'll do. And just kind of follow them wherever they're going to go. And say until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.